All right. Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's session. So, in our last class, we started with some Google Workspace applications that would enable us to work efficiently, not just as a freelancer, but as a customer service representative and a virtual assistant. We started off by looking at some of the tools that we have present on the screen. Google Sheets, Slack, Trello, Zoom, Zendesk, and the rest of them. And just yesterday we started with Google Sheets, which is also known as Google Workspace. So today we'll round off with Google Sheets and see if we can touch on Slack and Trello. Okay, and if time permits, we'll cover Zoom. I would crave our indulgence that I won't be taking Zendesk practically for some reasons, but I will share a video with us that would explain Zendesk in details, okay? So that we know we are done with this section, because there are a lot to cover. From next week, I want us to jump into something different. So by God's grace, we'll try to cover all this for today and then continue with other things from next week. So that said, let's jump into what we will be doing for today. So we'll begin as usual, typing out our Google and then navigate to the Google applications. So today we'll begin with the Google Drive. Okay, start off with Google Drive. Now you may be asking, what exactly is Google Drive? Google Drive can be likened to your memory card in your phone. Okay, it can also be likened to your flash drive for your PC. It is simply a cloud storage. Okay, it's a kind of storage that you have, okay, on the cloud. You cannot touch it. Okay, you can see it, but you cannot feel it because it's basically on the cloud. So what happens, or how it is used, is this: your Google data, for example, data you store on your Google documents, your contacts, Google Contact, your Google Sheets, we'll be seeing some of those, your Google Forms, basically anything at all that you save on your Google account is automatically saved into the cloud for you. And you'll be wondering, how is it possible that I'm saving something and I come back tomorrow, or I log into another phone and I'm still able to see that thing? It is so because there is a cloud storage available to cater for that service. Okay, so whenever you save anything on your Google account, it automatically saves on the cloud. And that is why you are advised that your pictures that you don't want to lose, you can synchronize them on your Google Photos and it saves on the cloud. Okay, your videos, your data, basically documents, even for some of us who are certificate holders, graduates and all that, you have very important certificates, birth certificates, degree certificates, and what have you, that you don't want to lose. The best way to save that is scan it and save it on your Google Drive, so that even if you misplace the original document, you can always head over to your Google Drive, download it, and go and reprint as you wish. Okay, so that is basically an overview of what Google Drive is. It's applicable on the mobile version, and this is currently the PC version that we are looking at. So whatever you have saved on your Google Drive is basically saved, or whatever you save on your Google account rather, basically saved on your Google Drive. So for some of us, our Google Drive may be a little bit scanty. Okay, perhaps we have not been saving a lot of stuff on it. So we'll just play around the interface and see the things it does. Okay, a click on this takes us straight to the same place where we present here. This is Google Drive. Here is where we can search for anything at all that we have saved on our Google Drive. This is where we can save something anew. If you have a new file or document that you want to save, you can always save them by clicking on new. Once you click on new, it gives you options. You want to save a file, or do you want to save a folder from your phone or from your PC, or you want to save a Google documents, sheets, slides, forms, or what have you. Okay, so this is where you get to begin saving whatever it is you want to save. We'll come back to this very quickly. Let's just check out other things. So this, my drive here, is a category that holds everything that you have saved yourself. Okay, everything you've saved by yourself through this very new category here is automatically saved into your drive. This, I believe, is a paid feature, but it's basically used to synchronize things on your computer. If you want to save everything on your computer onto your Google Drive, you can do that by clicking on this and synchronize. Shared with me, these are documents that somebody else has shared with you via their own Google Drive. Okay, so when I share a document with you, for instance, I share this my slide with everybody in the group, you will receive a prompt. Okay, so when you open it on your Google Drive, in fact, as soon as you click on it, it would prompt you to open it via your Google Drive, because I shared it from my Google Drive. So as soon as you open it on your Google Drive, it will automatically be saved in this section of your Google Drive called Shared with Me. Okay, so anything that anybody has shared with you from their Google Drive, this is where you find them. All right. Recent talks about the things that you have mostly checked out from your Google Drive. Starred, as the name implies, these are files and folders that you have probably starred, just as you saw with mails. Okay, any file you start on your Google Drive, you find them right here. Trash talks about the things, the files, the documents you've deleted from your Google Drive. Now, I need to make mention of something to us, that because our Google Drive, the one we are seeing presently, is something that we are entitled to by the virtue of owning a Gmail account. Okay, as soon as you have a Gmail account, a Google Drive is automatically recommended to you, or is allocated, rather, that's the right word, is allocated to you. Okay, however, because you are using the free version of Google product, you will only be entitled to 15 gigabytes of storage, and you can imagine how small it is. Some of us use 64 gig on our phone, 128, and the rest of them. Okay, so this is how small the storage is. Imagine a memory card with just 15 gig. What can it save? And that tells us that you don't need to save irrelevant things on your Google Drive because the size is so small. Alright, so you want to be intentional about the things you save. Documents, files, videos, pictures, or what have you. Whatever it is that you save on your Google Drive should be something of great importance to you. Okay, however, you can as well buy more storage. Okay, if you want to increase this storage from 15 gig to probably 128 or 64 or even 1 terabyte, of course you can. All you need to do is just to click on buy storage, and you'll be taken through the process where you have to pay with your credit card, and then more storage will be given to you. And I think that service is paid for on a monthly basis. So if it's something you want to consider, be my guest. Otherwise, I think the free version is just cool for anybody who is a frequent Google user. Alright, that said, over here is where we can make files available offline. Okay, one thing with Google Drive is anything you save can only be accessed online. Okay, it means if I save anything on my Google Drive, I cannot have access to it again except I have internet. So when I have internet, then I can have access to it. If I then want to download it, fine. Okay, but I will need an internet to be able to access the files I have saved on my Google Drive. However, I can decide that I want to make it also available offline. This is the feature to do that. You just need to click on the file that you want to make available and then click on this ready for offline. Okay, once you do that, it will automatically download the file so that you can always access it even when you don't have an internet. Okay, and also on this next button here, which is support, you have a problem with your drive, you can just chat up some agent on Google to help you clear the challenges that you're having. this is the settings option where you can set up everything on your Google Drive. So a quick check on that takes us to the main settings page. Here we are. Okay, so this is basically what we'll find on the settings page. Alright, I don't want to really spend much time here, so at your own convenience, just play around these stuffs and see what you can get out of it. Alright, that said, once you highlight any folder or any file, okay, any folder or any file, you see these options here popping out. The option right here, remember we are on this category, which is my drive. The option we have here is the link option. That is the option that gives you the link to this particular file, because every file or folder you save on your Google Drive will be automatically given a link. That is, a link will be automatically generated for it, so that if you want to share that file or that folder without necessarily having to download it and sending it over to the person, okay, you can always do that with a link. It's actually easier that way, so that instead of having to download something from the internet, which consumes, let's say something is worth 50 megabytes for instance, and then you want to send it to a friend, okay, you go online, you download it, you have wasted 50 megabytes. You now send it again to your friend. It takes another 50 megabytes to send that data to your friend. You can imagine how many megabytes you have spent or you have wasted. 100 megabytes altogether. Meanwhile, you can actually just do one thing. Save that file on your Google Drive, which will just take you 50 megabytes, and then head over to your link section. Click on the link. It brings out the link to that folder, okay, and then you copy the link and then forward the link to your friend. That has saved you an extra 50 megabytes that you should have ordinarily wasted. Okay, you see one of the benefits of having a Google Drive. Okay, so this is how you just copy the link directly from here. You click on copy, alright, and then you share the link. However, I need to bring this to our notice. And what is it? That for every file or folder that you save on your Google Drive, you are the only one that have access to it. Except, of course, if somebody has your username and password to your Gmail, then the person will ordinarily have access to your Google Drive. We said all this yesterday. Okay? And whenever you share a file from your Google Drive to somebody, even by sharing the file to that person, the person still cannot have access to the file or the folder. The reason is that the default permission of every file you upload on Google Drive is restricted. What do I mean by that? For every file you upload on Google Drive, for as long as you have not granted permission to another eyes to see it, that file will remain on restriction mode. Okay, even if you copy this link alone and send it to your friend, once your friend clicks on it, the person will not be able to access the file. Instead, what the person would see is request permission for access. Let's quickly try it out. No, I wouldn't want to use this file. Let's see a file that I can share with us. Okay, let me share this file with us. Alright, so I want to share this file. I copy the link, and then looking at this option here, you can see, because I have shared this file with us with some persons before, I changed the restriction from restricted to anyone with a link. But let me just take it back to the default, which is restricted. Okay, now because this file is restricted, even those whom I have shared the link with now can no longer access it because I have restricted it. But I just want to show us something quickly. If I copy this link and I share it with us in the group, say I head over to the chat box and then I click on, I don't know if this link will be clickable for some of us in the group, but let's see. Let me know if this link is clickable. Can somebody click on it? Is it clickable? Felicity, kindly turn off your video. Is this link clickable? Is anybody there? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, it's clickable. Yes, clickable.
All right.
I just clicked it. Yes.
Right. Try to click on it and let's see. What does it say?
It showed me Google Google Drive.
You need access.
Were you able to access the file?
Access. No, it's requesting for access. It says access restricted.
Let somebody just do the talking. Is that who is the person talking? James. James. When you clicked on it, what were you told?
What were you told?
It says access restricted.
Access what?
Restricted. It's only in Google background. Then it says access restricted.
Good. Access restricted. Access restricted. Let's see what happens when. Let's see what happens when the access is restricted. This is what you see. Please, you can turn off your mic now, James. Thank you. Let's see what happens when you are told access is restricted. What happens to you who sent the file to other people? Ordinarily, you're supposed to get a message in your mailbox telling you that somebody is trying to access your file and that you should grant the person the permission, okay, to be able to read that file you have shared with them. Okay, so if you decline permission, the person will still not be able to read it until you grant the person permission before the person is able to read what you have sent to them. The same thing applies to pictures, videos, and what have you. Okay, anything at all that you have not granted permission for anyone, then you will not, the person or whoever it is, will not be able to read what you have sent to them. Let's see if it's here. There's supposed to be a notification. The network is fluctuating here. There's supposed to be a notification. You get a notification in your email telling you that somebody is trying to access your document. Okay, it's still loading. I don't know why it's not coming up here now, but ordinarily that is what it should be. All right, you get a notification from your email, and if your Google Drive is connected to your phone, okay, you get a notification on your phone telling you that somebody is trying to gain access into your documents. All right, now you would once you get that notification, I'm trying to figure out where the notification is here, but it's not popping up. I don't know why. So once you get that notification, you will then, from the mail you receive, I'm trying to see if I can still find it here. Just give me some moments. It's loading and it's taking too long. But notwithstanding, from the mail you receive or the notification you receive, all right, you will then be able to grant the person permission. All you need to do, I can actually see the notification on my phone. I can see the names of people trying to gain access to my file. But I don't know, the network is not allowing me to check that out from my mail. The people who have tried accessing the file, Rex, Wisdom, Malaki, Vivian, and the rest of them, those are the people that have clicked on the file requesting for access. Okay, but because I have not granted them access, okay, fine, here they are. You can see this. Night Noble, okay, is requesting for access. Rex Channel is requesting for access. Malaki is requesting for access. Okay, so this is how you get the notification on your mail, and if your Google Drive is connected to your phone, this is how you get the notification as well on your phone. Okay, so let's try to open it and see what it says or what it reads. It's taking quite a lot. But while that is on, let's check out other things. So if you don't want this to happen, if you are sure of the person you want to grant access to, all you need to do is just click on the link. Of course, you have to highlight the file you are sending or sharing. Click on the link again, and then before copying the link, change this restricted to anyone with the link. Okay, and that's not all, because permission is something that you have to be very careful before granting. There are hierarchy to permissions. I mean, there are levels to permission. There is the permission you can give to somebody. The only thing the person can do is to read the document. That is the permission called viewer permission. There is another permission where the person can both read the document and comment on the document. That cannot be done on the viewer permission, but on commenter's permission. Okay, while editor permission is the highest permission you can give to anybody who you're sharing your file with. Editor can view the document, comment on the document, edit the document, and even delete the document. So you want to be sure of the level of permission you are granting to anyone as far as your file is concerned, okay, before you go on to share that file. So most times I recommend viewer permission, okay, except if you want somebody to probably make some comments, but never give anybody an editor permission except you really trust that person not to tamper with your files, okay, not to tamper with your files. So once that is done, you copy the link now and then you share. So two things you can do: you either copy the link after you have changed the restriction mode, or you head over to your mail where the person is asking for permission, okay, and then you click on open sharing settings to take it to your Google Drive. Okay, take it to your Google Drive where you can then grant the person permission. Okay, you see that coming up. I hope we're still together though, because it seems like the network is fluctuating.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Sharing is not available because I have changed the settings. Okay, because I have changed the settings. So I've changed the settings. That is why it's telling me that the sharing is no longer available. Okay, so can you guys try clicking on the link again and see what it comes up with? See if it's accessible now.
Yeah. Open.
It's open now.
Great. Accessible.
It's open, right?
We don't move outline. Yes, it is.
Okay, so that is it. So that is basically how you share files with people. Okay, so we are done with that. This is another alternative way to share file with people. Okay, but the difference between this and this is that with this you can actually share a file directly to somebody's email. Okay, unlike the other one where you just need to copy the email, well, copy the link. That is this section, but this other section comes with the section where you can actually put in somebody's email if you have their email. So this is more advanced than the other one. So in this case, you are sure that you are giving this link to a particular person, unlike the other way whereby you are not even sure. You know the way social media is, link can go viral at any time. So you want to be certain that you're already sharing this link with one person or with the people you want to have access to the link. So in this case, if I want to share the link with just one person out of all of you, I'll put in the person's email here. Let's say this is my clients. I put in the person's email here. You can see that the file automatically attaches itself to the email, and then I grant the person permission. What kind of permission? Viewer, commenter, whatever permission. Okay, and then I can add a message if I want to. Here is the document. Here is the document you requested. Okay, and then I click on send, but I don't want to send this document. Okay, so instantly, as soon as I send this document, the person doesn't have to start asking me for permission again, because I have already granted them permission, and I am sure that it is only this person that can have access to it. Because if this person eventually shares this document with another person, the person will not be able to view the document because I have not granted the other person permission. So this is specifically for who you have chosen to access your document. If you want to discard, if you want to preview your document before you send it, the way the document is like this, you are not sure what is inside, so you want to be sure of what the document contains before you go ahead and send it, because sometimes, like you can see these two documents, they bear almost the same name, and I might not be sure which of them is the one I want to send. So what I need to do is I just click on the document, I click on preview. It will then give me the view of the document. Okay, this is what is inside the document. Fine. Then I can go ahead and send it when I am sure that it is the document I want to send out or share with others. If I want to delete, I use this option. Here is more option that you can play around with. If you want to open the document with, the way you open stuff on your computer, you want to open the document with a different file or in a different format, you can use this option. You want to know where this file is located on your drive, use this for this file location. You want to add a shortcut of the drive to your phone or whatever. You want to move the document to somewhere different from where it is on your drive. Okay, this is how you start a document. Okay, and then you want to rename the document. You want to view the details of the document to check what the size of the document is and all that. You want to manage version. You want to make a copy, or you want to download the document for yourself. So this is where you access all that information. All right, so having said all this, let us then head over to how to save a document on our file. You click on new. You can choose whether you want to save, what you want to save is just a single file, or you want to save an entire file that is inside a particular folder. So if it is a folder you want to save, you choose folder upload. If it is a file, you choose file upload, and then you click on it. As soon as you click on it, it will take you to your your file manager on your phone. Okay, you take it to your file manager on your phone, and then you can select which document you want to save. Is it a picture? Is it a document? Okay, all right. Is it music or video? Whatever it is you want to save, just select it, and then you click on open. As soon as you click on open, I don't want to save anything here. As soon as you click on open, the file will automatically begin to save. Okay, it automatically begin to save. Okay, let's see if I can save one thing here so that we can make it more practical. Let's say I want to save say a CV, for instance. Let's say I want to save a CV. I don't want to save a folder because that would take a whole long time. Let's say I want to save a CV or this Coursera certificate. I can double click on it and it starts saving. Can you see this? It's uploading. You see that it's uploading and it begins to save. It has completed its upload, and you see where it was saved. It was saved under this file, Coursera social media marketing and DIM. Alright, so that when I probably scroll up and I go to say recent, I should be able to see, you can see it here, Coursera social media marketing. So it is saved in my Google Drive. Anytime I want to access the certificate, even if I flash my phone or format the memory, the PC, okay, I can always come back to my drive and then download it directly from here. So that is how to save or upload files onto your Google Drive. Okay, but it might be a little different on your phone. The reason is this: on the phone, you may not be able to upload directly for the following reason. When you try to upload a file on your phone, the file will not upload immediately. Why? Because the default setting of Google Drive on your phone is such that files should only upload when you are connected to a Wi-Fi. I repeat, the default setting for your Google Drive on your phone is such that file can only upload when you are connected to a Wi-Fi. Is that understood? Now, to change that, you need to go to the settings of the drive on your phone. It doesn't work like that for PC. It's specifically for the phones, okay? Because most times on PC, you are either connected to a wireless LAN or you're connected to a hotspot. Okay, so it sees it ordinarily as a Wi-Fi. But for the phone, you will need to specify that you also want to be able to upload file to your Google Drive even by using your normal mobile data. Okay, so to do that, you need to go to settings on your Google Drive. You click on this. There's a section that you should see. Let me cancel this. You will see a section here. Let me see if I can get that out. There is these 3 lines. If you're on your phone, you should be able to see that. There's the 3 lines that you see at the top side just before you see search in Drive on your phone. You click on that 3 lines, go to settings. Okay, once you head over to settings, you scroll down and you will see the last option on your phone. I am actually looking at my phone as I'm explaining to you. So you see the last option on your phone where it reads data usage, transfer files only over Wi-Fi. It would ordinarily be on. So if you want to also upload file using your mobile data, you need to turn that off. That option needs to be turned off. It is only then that you can upload files onto your Google Drive, whether via mobile data or via Wi-Fi. Is that understood? So with this, we come to the end of Google Drive. Practically, we have finished everything on Google Drive. Other things here are just links to other Google applications, so I wouldn't want to be touching on these because we've already seen some of them, and others are not really of importance to our training. So the next thing we want to look at are documents, sheets, slides. You can play around keeps. Those of you that like journaling things, anything that happens to you, your boyfriend broke your heart, you write it down in your diary and all that, and at the end, if the diary gets missing, you will not have access to it. So the best thing you can actually use is Google Keeps, so that when you want to remember all those things that they did to you and you like to journal things down, or you are the kind of person that likes to go places with books, and sometimes you are not so conscious of not picking your book along with you. You can just download Google Keep, and it's like a diary. So journal whatever it is you need on Google Keep, and you can always have access to it again. People even write a whole book with Google Keep. Okay, but document is better off. So we won't be touching on Google Keep. I just had to mention that in passing. Lastly, we'll look at Google Forms. All right. So let's quickly begin with Google Docs. So we open the Google Docs. Before I go ahead, I need to let us know that Google Docs is almost the same thing as Microsoft Word. For those of you that have a computer and those of you that have been typing on your computer, there is a feature of one of the features of Office package is Microsoft Word. Okay, Microsoft Word. And Microsoft Word is like an app or a software that you can use to type documents. Okay, so Google have their version of that same Microsoft Word. The version of Microsoft Word for Google is called Google Docs, meaning Google Document. Is that understood? Google document. So as you can see, everything looks like the normal Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word. Okay, so here you can basically just type anything you want to type. All right, anything at all that you want to type, you can go ahead and type that. So let's just show us some of the things. Let me go back to show us some of the things that I have typed or I have saved with Google Docs. Okay, and then show us some features that make it very unique. There's some features that make me prefer Google Docs to Microsoft Office, and I'll show that to us in a few minutes. I'll call up some of the documents I have written, and while I was taking some courses on LinkedIn sometime last year, I had to copy some of those courses, the transcriptions. I copied some of those transcriptions and I saved it in Google Documents so that I can always have access to it even after my trial period was over. So I'll show you one of those documents. I just basically copied and pasted. Nothing spectacular. Let me see if I can bring them out. Some of these things are documents of my client. Okay, these are some of the documents I copied from LinkedIn Learning. So I'll just open it up and show us some of them. Just one. Okay. So coming up is one of the documents. Okay, so this is, just assume this is the things that I have typed. Alright, so this is how it looks like. Okay, basically like your normal Microsoft Office. So you can type anything. You head over here, click on it to give the document a name. Okay, you give it a name. This is the name of the course on LinkedIn Learning, Sales Negotiation. Okay, and then you save the name and then head over to the document and you start typing. Okay, all these here are just to help beautify or specify how your document look like. Okay, so in this case everything here is bold. That is why you can see they are all ticked on bold. They are highlighted or aligned to the left, all of them. Okay, so that is basically how documents looks like, Google Docs. The good feature that I love so much about Google Document is there are times you type, in fact all the time when you type, you will see different paragraphing for Google Document, so that instead of having to scroll down, you can see how long this document is. 15 pages long. Instead of having to scroll down looking for what you have typed, you can basically just search them using this paragraph. If you know what paragraph it was where you're typing, you click on the paragraph, the document automatically rolls over to that paragraph and you're good to go to continue from where it is that you want to. Okay, so that's a good feature that I really enjoy about Google Documents. There are so many other features that Google Document have that you can always play around. Okay, but we will not spend so much time on that. So one thing I want to show us quickly is you can present this just the way I'm presenting my screen. You can present this document. If you want to show it to people in a meeting, you can just click on present and it would begin to show on your screen so that others, wherever they are, can also see it. The way I showed us how to present on Google Meet yesterday, that's the same feature for this. You can also share this document. That's another good thing with Google Documents. Just the way you were able to share things on your Google Drive, you can share this document the same way. Click on share and then you can always navigate it. So anytime I talk about sharing a document or sharing a Google file, just know that it is the same process, the same way it was with our Google Drive. You need to put in the person's email, grant them permission and share, or simply amend the restriction, copy the link and share. Whichever way that suits you, you're good to go. Just share the document as you want it and then grant the level of permission. Choose the level of permission you want to grant and then you share the document as it pleases you. So this is basically what Google Document is. And as I said before, Google Document has been used over the years by many writers to publish a book. It's really good, okay? And it's like Microsoft Word. Anything you save or anything you type is automatically saved, okay? Even if your battery of your phone runs down or your laptop dies off, it is automatically saved, so that you can always come back and continue from where you stopped or where you left off from, okay? So that is all we'll be discussing about Google Documents. And of course, this is where you comment. If you have any comments to make on this document, probably if the person has given you the commenter's permission, you can always comment on this. So that is that for Google Documents. And it is similar to the next Google application that we'll be looking at, which is Google Sheets. The next application I want to see is Google Sheets. Google Sheets can also be likened to Microsoft Excel for those of us who are into data entries. Okay, those of us who are into data entries, you must have heard of Microsoft Excel. Okay, so Google Sheets can be likened to Microsoft Excel. The interface is almost like Microsoft Excel. Everything about it is almost like Microsoft Excel. But I'll also show you why, or something I figured out about why I think I prefer Google Sheets to Microsoft Excel. Of course, there are different features. Every one of them have their advantage and disadvantage. Okay, but then it just boils down to what individual prefers. So here we are on Google Sheets. This is a template. I forgot to show us this. Once you open your Google Doc or your Google Sheet or your Google Slides, you will see templates available for you. Template simply means already made pattern of that application that you can use if you want. Okay, for instance, you want a Google Sheet that has to-do list, or you want to create a to-do list using Google Sheet. Instead of starting afresh, you can just use the one that has been created for you and just do some editing and you have your work done. Or you want to create an annual budget, you can just use this template and then you're done. You want to create a monthly budget, you want to create a finance investment or annual calendar, you can see that. If you need more, you can click on template gallery and you'll be shown more. Alright, so if you want to start your own from the scratch, you can always start with blank. So let's open one of the documents that made me say I love Google Sheets, or I prefer it to Microsoft Excel. Please, this is not an advert, okay? It's just a training showing you exactly why I prefer Google Sheets to Microsoft Excel. Okay, so like Google Docs, you can always name your file. Okay, you head over here, you click on it and you name your file. Give it a name that pleases you or the name that suits the document so that you don't forget, and you can always use that name to search the document when you want to. Okay, so a double click on it would automatically give you the room to rename the document, and as you can see, everything here is almost like what you saw on Google Documents with some variation, because Google Sheet is almost used for things that has to do with numbers, things that have to do with sheets, data entries and the rest of them. That's what Google Sheet is mostly used for. Okay, and then everything on Google Sheet is almost like your your Microsoft Excel, except that these features are different. Like we saw on Google Documents, you can comment if the person has given you permission to comment. You can share the same way I showed us just now, not so long ago, and you can present it as well. Okay, you can present it. So what was it I was saying that I loved about Google Sheet? It was the copy and paste feature. Now my client sent me a document through a website, and she asked me to extract the document from that website and then create a Google Sheet out of that document. Okay, in other words, make that document into a Google Sheet document, so that she can always have access to that document in a Google Sheet format whenever she wants to, because she doesn't want to always go over to the internet or always have to log into that website to have access to that document, or this document rather. So what I did was I copied the entire document, the section of the website where she wants me to extract. Okay, I copied it. I headed over to Microsoft Excel, and then I just pasted the documents, the extract from that website. I pasted it on Microsoft Excel. And on Microsoft Excel, the extraction that I did appeared like a picture. It occupied only one column or one row here, just the way it is here. This is like a cell. Sorry, it's a cell. We call this a cell, both in Excel and in Google Sheets. One portion like this is called a cell. This is another cell. Okay, this is another cell. All right. While everything here like this down to the last is a row, but everything here down this way is a column. Okay, but each cell is named. You can see this is 1, this is A, B, C, D, and so on. Okay, so you can name this cell. This cell here, if I click on it, you see the name A1, meaning this cell tallies with this A here and this 1 here. So if you draw 1 to this point and you draw A downwards, they meet here. That is why it is called A1. The same thing with B. If you click on this, it changes the name to B1, meaning it is still on the same row as B, but on column, the same row as 1, but on column B. So everything here is column A, column B, column C, column D, column E, and so on. But these things here are row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. So the cells are named according to what? The column and the rows. So A1 means cell A, row 1. Cell column A, row 1. Cell column B, row 1, and so on. So if I click on any cell at all I need to do, I don't need to cram it. Just go over to this place. You can see the name here. This is cell column I, row 12. You can see it's on the row number 12 and it's on the column I. Alright, so that's how to learn the naming of the cells. You can always watch videos on LinkedIn Learning if you want to be an expert on all these things. So when I pasted that picture or that extract from that website, when I pasted it on Microsoft Excel, the whole of that extraction that I made filled only one cell, which is column A, row 1. That is this cell. Everything entered this cell and it looks so big. It looks as big as everything you're seeing here. But imagine all these things entering just this one cell. That was exactly what I encountered. And that is not what the client wanted. In fact, I was almost giving up, because the implication was that I would have to start typing everything one after the other so that I can achieve something like this. So I said, let me try Google Sheets. And so I copied the same document from that website and I pasted it on Google Sheets. And lo and behold, Google Sheets gave me exactly what I needed. It splitted everything the way it should be on a Google Sheet. This title here occupied only this row and this row. If I'm not mistaken, you can see it. It occupied both. Okay, it occupied just one row, which is A1, A1 here, cell A1, and you can see the words written inside cell A1. So you see the cell, you see what is written in it: facilities in Oklahoma. Okay, if I go to the next one, which is cell A2, you can see beginning from A2 to E2. You see where it ends, E2. That is why A to E was highlighted and 2 was also highlighted. So it means from cell A2 to cell E2, which is the length that this word has covered. This is everything that is written inside it. Veterans Health Administration, VISN, 16 column South Central, VA Healthcare Network. Okay, this is how far it went. And then in this case, everything was splitted individually. You can see this one is a cell A3, station ID. This is cell B3, facility. This is cell C3 rather, address. Cell D3, phone, and so on and so forth. Everything was now placed in their proper order. So it no longer looked like an image, unlike as it was in your Microsoft Excel, where everything entered only one cell and it appeared as if it's an image in JPG format. But this one actually brought out the exact result I needed, which was supposed to be in Excel format. So you know what happened eventually? The client, when she gave me this job, has probably tested it on Microsoft Excel. I don't know, I'm just guessing. And so she saw it as a lot of work. Okay? And probably she was anticipating that to type all these things might probably take 30 minutes or maybe to 1 hour or thereabout. And she doesn't have that time to spare. So she reached out to me and told me to extract this document from the website and create it in a sheet format and send it to her. Of course, she was willing to pay because to her it's too much work. But from what I just explained to us, imagine how many seconds that took me, not up to 60 seconds. Copy and paste and everything is settled. But I, as a Nigerian that I am, I'm not a cheat, don't mind me. But of course it was my work. It took me time to figure it out. So I had to, do some unusual delay so that it looks like I did some good work before I sent it to my client. And then she loved the job and then I got paid. Okay, so this is basically how you can get to work around. This is just an expo anyway. Some clients will not have the time to do all this minor research. That is where you come in as a freelancer. You do the thing, you get yourself paid good money. So that is that for Google Sheet. Okay, other things here are just on calculations and things to help you work perfectly well on your Google Sheet. And of course, to share it, as I said, you click on share and you're good to go. So that is that for Google Sheets. All right, the next thing we want to look at quickly is Google Slides. Okay, I forgot to mention a few things. Let's go back to Google Sheets. Anything I see on Google Sheets here now also applies to Google Documents. Okay, so whether Google Sheet or Google Document, if you click on File, you see a drop down. All right, once you click on any of these, you see different drop downs, even though some of them may be different for Google Documents, but usually File, Edit, View, Insert are mostly the same. So a click on File will drop down some list of features that we could navigate with. Okay, so you want to open a new Google Sheet, you can use this feature. If it were to be on Google Documents, you want to open a new Google document, you get this feature. You want to open and not when you open new is a blank document or a blank sheet. But when you use open means you want to open an already existing document or already existing sheet. Okay, import means you want to call it up from somewhere, make a copy. You know what that means. Share here is the same feature as this. Okay, so this is another place you can do the sharing. You can send the document or the sheet to somebody's email. Okay, email this file, email collaborators. Okay, you can also download it if you want to. Remember I said it automatically saves as soon as you're working, so there is no need to start saving except you want to save or to be sure that you have saved. Excuse me please, let me take this off. So you can always play around other things. If you want to rename it so that the name changes from this to whatever you want to call it, you can use this feature, name, move, and the rest of them. Okay, you want to print it, go ahead and do that. For the edit option, that is where you can paste, copy, cut, and what have you. For the view, you can show, freeze, so at your own discretion, you can just play around some of these things. You want to insert a picture, you can click on image, insert where do you want to insert it. You want to draw something, you want to insert a link and all that. So That is basically that for Google Sheets, and can also be applicable to Google Documents. All right. So let's head over to the other one, which is Google Slides. So for Google Slides can also be likened to what we know to be Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, Microsoft PowerPoint, which is basically used to create what we call slides presentation. Okay, a typical example is what you have here. Okay, what you have always seen me presenting with was actually made out of Google Slides. All right, all these things you're seeing, the design, the write-up, everything was made via Google Slides. Okay, so once you click on Google Slides, of course you have templates which you can use if you want to. If it is a slide presentation of a big idea that you want to talk to people about, you can use this: photo album, wedding planning, portfolio creation, lookbook, and the rest of them. All right, you can just use a template, or you can check out more if you want them, or you want to start your own from scratch, which is what I did. You can create with blank. Okay, so when I click on blank, even when you click on blank, you would also be taken into the internal feature of Google Slides. So this is how it looks like. You can head over here to name the document like I did mine. However, on the right hand side here, you will still be given some design templates that you can play around with. Okay, if you don't have this graphics design capabilities, okay, you don't know how to mix colors, you can just head over to this section and call out any template or any colored templates which you want to use, okay, to design your work. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't want to take too much time, so I just scrolled down and then I cut these templates. You can see that I cut these templates, and that was what I used to create the masterclass slides. You can see it's the same thing as this. Everything is the same thing. You can see the design. You see everything is basically the same thing. So all I need to do is just start writing whatever it is I want to write. Okay, click on it, you write. Okay, and then you write. If you don't want to write anything here, you can delete it. Okay, you can also play around this feature, which was almost like what I showed us the other time. All right, import slide if you have any slide, make copies, download, or whatever it is. You can also insert pictures, images, audios, videos, and whatever it is that you want to do to make your slide look a lot presentable. Okay, so that is basically what slide looks like. And so slide is a little bit different because slides are used for presentations. Okay, they are used for presentations. So, and their pattern, the design pattern is quite different from document and sheets. Okay, so slide can also have the slideshow feature, which simply means you want to enlarge what you can see here. So if I want to enlarge it, I just click on slideshow and it enlarges it to full screen so that everybody can get to see exactly what I am showing. Okay, and every other thing on the computer is cut off. Only that particular section will be shown on your screen. Okay, so this is how you do that. And to exit it, you just click on this, or you simply use escape button on your computer and you're good to go. And one good thing I forgot to mention is that you can actually do editing of this document, whether on Google Sheets, Google Slides, or Google Docs. Okay, you can do the editing via your phone, and even if I open it on my system, it will still be the same thing. In other words, any editing I make with my phone and I head over to the system, I will see that the editing has reflected on the system. So a lot of the editing I made on this work was done on my phone, and when I headed over to the system, it was already implemented or effected. Okay, so the features remain the same. This is where you comment. You can also present with this to a meeting. This is slideshow, different from presentation, mind you. This is slideshow, and this is share. Okay, so you can use this to share to others, and you can see the feature. Unlike Google Sheets and Google Docs, there is nothing like bold here and stuff like that, but it will likely exist when you begin to type. If I click on this now, you can see it comes out. Alright, but if I take it out, it disappears, and then you can just play around all these at your own free time. So this is what you use to design slides for presentation. For those of you who are teachers, you can always play around with these to teach your students. So that is that for slides. Again, there are courses. I think one of the courses something about administrative support or something like that on LinkedIn Learning, where you can learn all these things in details. Okay, so I'm just showing it to you in passing so that you can, have a feel of them. I didn't learn those things. Okay, I didn't learn them. I was just playing around them, and I got acquainted with them. So anybody can actually do the same. I believe a basic computer knowledge can actually help you navigate all these things I'm showing you. Alright, so we are basically done with slides, Google Sheet, Google Documents, and we'll move over to the last one, which is Google Forms. And this is where I will dwell a lot. The reason why I will dwell a lot here is because sometimes a client might require you to create a form. Okay, a client will require you to create a form. So you will need to create forms. In fact, one of the very first interview I got as a freelancer was an interview that asked me to create a form from scratch. I was given the features that the form should have, and then I created it from scratch. But luckily for me, I was already acquainted with creating forms. I was already acquainted with creating forms, so it wasn't so difficult a task for me. But I'll be showing us exactly how to create forms from scratch, in case there is a need for that. And once I create a form here now, I'll share the form with us, and I want everybody to fill the form. Okay, so I'll share the link of the form with us, and I want everybody to fill the form. So here we go blank and begin the form from afresh. So sometimes you see forms on different websites asking you to fill out some forms, and you click on submit, and at the end you see something like Google Forms. This is exactly how the forms were created. Okay, so you can also create a form from scratch. You can use a form as a questionnaire. If you want a digital questionnaire, you can also create it and print it out for people to answer for you. Okay, but if you are collecting responses digitally online, you can just create a form, share out the link, people fill the form, and you will get your responses when they are done filling the form. So here is the beginning. This is what Google Forms looks like. I need to also mention that Google Forms has a mobile version, but you won't find it directly on your app as Google Forms. You need to download an app called Survey Hearts. Survey Hearts. Okay, when you download Survey Hearts from Play Store, then you open the Survey Hearts, you will see forms inside of that Survey Hearts. When you click on forms, then you will see this feature, which is the Google Forms. So to start up, you can name the form whatever you want to name it. Say freelance participants. Okay, freelance participants, and as soon as you rename it, it changes here as well. Once I click on this, you can see the name has been affected, and then under it here you can give it a description if you want, not compulsory. You can just describe the form, give it a name, give it a short description, especially if you're designing this form for people to attend to it. You need to describe the form, give it a short comment. What is the form about, so that people understand what exactly they are feeling or why they are filling the form. So that said, this is where you get to set up the questions that you want your people to answer on the form. This section is where you receive responses. When people begin to respond to the form online, this is where you get to see all their responses. Okay, This is where you set up the back end of the form. You want to make it a quiz. You want to collect responses, how to manage your responses. Okay, you can click on that to see more options. You can see that. You want to collect email addresses, you can tick it. You want to send responders a copy of their response, you need to tick this on before you can send a copy. Meaning, after the person clicks on submit at the end of the form, the person should also get a copy of their answers. That is what this thing means here. You want to allow editing, meaning somebody who has attended to the form before can come back and edit the answers they have provided. You want to allow it, you tick it on. You want to limit the response to one person at a time, meaning you don't want one person to attend to the form more than once. You tick this. Okay. Further down, you can see presentation. You want to show progress bar. You know, there are some forms, as you fill them, you'll be seeing progress telling you you have answered 70%, you have answered 2% of the form questions and all that. So this is where you tick that. Alright. You want to shuffle question orders. That means you don't want the questions to be the way you set it anytime a new person opens it. Number 1 can be number 10 and the rest of them. Okay, so you can tick this if you want that to happen. You want to send, what is the confirmation message? When the person clicks on submit, what should the person see immediately they click on submit? This is the response the person will get. Your response has been recorded. If you want the person to see something different, okay, you can always change this, edit it. Okay, once you edit it, you know there are some this is a unique feature that I discovered somehow. When you click on submit, this is a message that whoever is filling the form would get to see as soon as they submit the form. Okay, now there are some forms that allow you to redirect people to another website, for instance, after they have clicked on the form. I used that feature for one of the forms I created for one of the marketing campaigns I did for an NGO. I needed anybody who filled the form to go and create a kind of poster with their face, you know, showing that I'll be attending this event, kind of. But that poster was hosted on a different website. Okay, so there was no way to actually refer them to that website because I wanted them to go and create their poster only after they have filled the form completely and clicked on submit. So the only way to do that was to edit this response. Okay, so what I did was I created a format, a message. I said something like, your response has been recorded. Kindly click on this link. I put in the link there. Kindly click on this link to create your banner, something like that, your poster banner or your face banner for the event. So as soon as I added that there, I clicked on save. So when I saved it, anybody that answered the questions on the form and then clicked on submit, I will be showing us that eventually later. As soon as the person clicks on submit, the message the person will see next is the message I have edited here, which tells the person to click on the link I have attached. So once the person clicks on the link, it redirects the person to the website that I have created for the person. So the person heads over to the website and then creates their own face banner, okay, for the event. So not everybody knows how to do this. So I felt I should just show that to us in case you find yourself needing that in the future. You want to show link to submit another response, you can tick on this. View results. So these are what I've just mentioned are the most basic ones. So others are the things you can play around. Okay, so let's head over to the form itself. How do we create questions? You know, this form is managed by what I called an artificial intelligence, because people have been using it over time. So the machine understands to a great extent how people behave with a certain kind of question and what kind of response should go with a kind of question. For instance, if it is a question that requires an answer that will need to be typed, okay, the machine will automatically provide you with a pattern of answer that can allow people to type in their answer. If it is a question that requires people to just choose like maybe multi-choice question, like objective, the machine will automatically generate a format of answer that allows people to select by choice their answers. So let's look around and see exactly what I'm talking about. But before I go into that, let's play around this and see. This is where you add a new question. Once you create a question, you want to add another question, you click on this. I'll also show us another way to do that. This is where you import questions. If you already have a question that you have created on your Google Forms already, you don't want to start afresh. You want to just import questions from the previous forms you have created. You can do that with this. This is where you add title and the description, okay, to your form. This is where you add images. This is where you add videos, and this is breaking the form into different sections. All right. So let's just go with the most basic. And of course, you can always move the form after you have set maybe a couple of questions and you feel one should be before the other. This is how you move the form. You carry the form and you move it the way you want it. I'll show us that eventually later. So this is how we begin. We click on the first one. Once you click on it, it asks you what question you want to ask. Let's say you can see the answer here. Look at the format. It's in a multi-choice format. You see, multiple choice. So let's also check out what are the options we have for the answers. You have short answer, paragraph. This is for writing. If there is an answer that requires a user to type their answers for you, you use either short answer if it is a short answer you need, or if it is a paragraph, maybe it's a long sentence that they need to write, you use paragraph. Multi-choice, checkbox, serve the same purpose. The difference is that why this one is used, why this one requires a user to check their answer. This one only requires a user to tick the answer. Okay, but the two serve the same purpose but different names. Okay. Drop down is what you are just seeing. The feature you are seeing me use now is drop down. What do I mean? You see the way it is now. If I click on it, you see a drop down of answers. This thing that just popped up, the format is called drop down. So if the answer you want to give your user is in a drop down format, you use the drop down option to supply the answers to them. Okay. File upload, if you want to collect files from user, whatever file you want to collect from them, whether image, videos, pictures, whatever it is at all, you choose this format. Okay. Linear scale, multiple choice, all these are on the side. Okay. The date, if you want to attach a date, for instance, to your document, you can use this format. And you want to attach time to your answer, rather, you can use this format. All right. So that said, let's see. This is where you can also duplicate the question that you have created. If I create a question here and I don't want to start typing it afresh again, once I click on duplicate, this same question will duplicate itself under, and then I don't need to retype it. I want to delete, I use this option. I want to make a question compulsory so that until you answer that question, you will not be able to submit this form. You can click on this. Any question that is compulsory, you tick required, so that the person knows that without it, it cannot be answered. That is why sometimes when you try to fill some forms online, you will see a red button showing you that this one with red asterisk is compulsory to be answered. It is because it has been set this way. Alright. Other things here are just what you can always play around with. Alright. More feature. You can create a description, go to section based on answers, a shuffle option order, and the rest of it. Alright, so let's see. Let's begin with the first, name, and watch what happens to this option 1 here. See how it changes. Once I type name, see what happens. You see, I told you this is an AI, it's a machine. It already understands how people behave and the kind of answers people should supply to a question, whether it should be typed or it should just be selected. So in this case, I'm asking people for their names. Automatically the computer knows that people will have to type their name out. That is why it has shuffled the answer from multi-choice or multiple choice to short answer. So here people can then write their name out. But if you are one of those that your name is so long, you have 10 names that you like to write at the same time when people ask you for your name, then you need to create paragraph for such people so that you can give them the room to write as long as their names are. Okay, that is how to do that. Now let's say the next thing I want to collect is maybe phone number, or I can change this to say first name, for instance. Let's say first name. Okay, first name. And let's say the next thing I want to collect is last name. Okay, instead of creating a new question like this, let me not do that yet. Instead of creating a new question afresh, because I will show us this feature later. Instead of creating a new question afresh, since what I will be writing will still have name attached to it, all I need to do is just click on duplicate. As soon as I click on duplicate, it will duplicate that first name for me with the long answer text or whatever it is. With every feature that I have chosen there, you can see it is asterisk, meaning it is compulsory to be answered. And because I have duplicated it, everything I did here, including the required, will be ticked for me. So all I need to come here to do now is just change this to last name, and then I'm good to go. You see that everything is fine, and it even changed it to short answer again. But if I want to change it back to long answer, I can do that. I can also go back to this one, tick on the name, and then I can edit it as I wish. Okay, I can change it back to short answer if I wish, or I can even decide that let this section just be full name instead of splitting one name to another. And over here I can delete this one if I feel I don't need it. You see that? So that is how we play around all these things. Now if I want to add another section, I can still come over here, another question I click on this and it opens another option for me. You can see another question has been created as if it was the same way we started. So here I will say WhatsApp number, for instance. Okay, you can see it has changed it again because it knows that people will need to type their numbers out for me. Alright, so I can say beginning with +234 format, +234 format. You know, sometimes you need to be very specific of what you want people to do. If not, you will see some people will come over to this place and they will start giving you different type of phone numbers. Some will start with +234, some will start with 070, some will start with 80813, some will even miss the first zero, some will supply only 10 digits of numbers. So you need to be specific whenever you are creating a form for people to answer for you. Okay, the next thing I would want to ask, I would say, how has the training been so far? Something like that. How has the training been for you? How has the training been for you? Okay, now I want to use another option. I don't want to use short answer, long answer. Let's use multiple choice, for instance. I can head over here where I have option 1 and I will say interesting, or let's say, okay, interesting. Okay, I can add another option. Just click on this, add another option, educating. Okay, educating. I can add another option and say maybe boring. Alright, add another option, as many options as I want, and I can still delete options if I think I don't need this option. Okay, and then if your answer is not here, I can allow you to write your own answer. What do? I come over to add order and then I click on add order. So this add order leaves room open for people to supply their own answer if their answer is not here. Okay, so another question I want to ask, for instance, would be, this time around I will use checkbox. Okay, I'll use checkbox. Would you recommend this training to your friends? Okay, this one is also supposed to end with a question mark. So would you recommend this training to your friends? This was the question I asked. This time around, I want to change it to checkbox. Okay, let's use the checkbox. You can see the answer here. Now, watch what happens. Once I use the option yes, another option will automatically be popped up for me. You see that no has automatically been generated for me. You see? So instead of coming here now to start writing no again, I just click on this option no. You see that if I was using this option here, for instance, another option would have popped out here for me, which is maybe. But because I'm using checkboxes, it doesn't have that. But if I'm using this one, I would have seen the third option, maybe, and I'll click on it as well. But since it's not there, I will say, let me add that option, maybe. Okay. So would you recommend this training? Yes, no, maybe. And in this case, you need to tick one answer for yourself if you are to answer this question. Alright. Here, it will not be wise to use add other because there is no other option that can fit in here for this question to be answered. Is that yes or a no or a maybe? Or I can decide to say never. Okay. I can decide to say never if I want to. Okay, let's just add another alternative for people to write the answer if they feel it's not needed. I can take out this maybe. Okay, so others take the position of maybe. So you can see the way I'm playing around. You have to be creative when you are creating a form for yourself because the questions are your questions. You want people to answer them for you. You can use this for marketing surveys. Okay, you can even use this for questionnaires. You want to do a market research, you can use this to create questions for people to answer for you, and then you share the link to your Facebook page or Instagram or whatever, so that people can always answer the questions for you. Okay, so we'll go to the next and let's see what answer that we can supply here. So what can we ask here now? Have you earned any certificate since you started learning, something like that? Have you earned any certificate of learning on any online platform? Anything you want to type, okay? Online platform, for instance, online learning platform, okay? Or I can say, instead of have you earned, I will say share rather, because I want to use another option here. Share any certificate of learning from any online platform. Okay, so in this case, share any certificate of learning from any online platform. In this case, I am expecting that people will upload a document because I'm asking them to share a certificate, and the certificate has to be in PDF format. Okay, so I'm expecting that they will upload the document, and for me to be able to collect this document, I will need to make provision for them to be able to upload. So what do? I head over to this answer option here, and then I would click on file upload. You see that file upload, and once I click on that, you see the question here is asking me files will be uploaded to the form owner's Google Drive. Respondents will be required to sign into Google when file upload questions are added to a form. Make sure to only share this form with people you trust. Is that understood? Meaning any file that they upload into this form will automatically be saved in your own Google Drive. So you want to be sure that this is what you want to do, because if there are multiple people, it means your Google Drive will get filled up quickly. So you want to be sure of what you're doing. You click on continue if that's what you want, and then you can see the file upload has come up. Now there are some certain things you want to do, because people can be very stubborn if you don't direct them on what exactly you want to get from them. Some of them, you've told them to upload a certificate, they'll start uploading videos. Some will go and start uploading audios, you know. So you need to guide them and restrict them on what you want from them. What kind of files you want people to upload here? You tick here, and then you choose. Is it a presentation file, a drawing, an image, an audio, a video, a PDF, a spreadsheet, or a document? What do you need? You need a PDF, so tick that PDF. This means if anybody uploads anything that is not PDF, it will not be allowed to go through. But if you leave it open, it means anything that anybody uploads will just go straight. That is 1. 2, you need to specify how many files are you expecting. If you leave it open, people can start sending in as much as 100 files. After all, you're the one that asked for certificates. You didn't ask for the numbers. And you know what that means to your Google storage. So you want to specify how many documents you need from them. Is it 1, 5, or 10? It's restricted to the number you need. And what should the size be? Should it be 10 MB? Should it be more than 10 MB? Do you need a 1 gig file? Do you need 10 gig file? You need to also ask yourself, how many gigabyte of storage do I even have in my Google Drive that will be allowed to entertain all these files? So you want to be very sure that your file that you're accepting is not too big, so that people don't finish up your storage for you. So you set up these things like this, and then you can make this compulsory. Okay, and then we'll proceed for more questions if there are any. Okay, but I think that is basically all. I will leave this to be for now. Okay, I'll leave this for now. If I want to create dates, I can do that. If I want to create time, I'll show us another option where I did all this. Drop down can be used in place of this. Okay, in place of this or that, checkbox or multiple choice. I can change this option to drop down if I want to. The difference is just that when the person gets to this section where it says how has the training been for you, the person will have to click on the answer, the drop down. Okay, the person will have to, oh, I've tampered with this. The person will have to click on the drop down. The person will have to click on the drop down, and when they click on the drop down, the way I'm clicking on it here, the way I'm clicking on the drop down here, when they click on the drop down, what they'll be seeing as an answer will be yes, no, other. Okay, that's what they'll be seeing on the drop down as an answer instead of this. So that's just the difference. So having done this, I think we are good to go. So I will expect every participant of this training to fill in this very form. Okay, fill in this very form. All right, so having said all this, this is how you can move the file. I can carry this file here and move it upwards. You can see that, so that WhatsApp number becomes first and then the names becomes second. Okay, but of course it won't be wise that way, so I take it back down and then I leave it at that. Okay, so we are good to go. Now we can change the themes for this design. You click on themes and you have different themes. You can see this color here, purple. See this color here, light purple. This color here, light blue, and all that. So you can change it if you want. Okay, you can change. You can see theme color. You can change it to maybe red, orange. If I want to, you can see the way it changes. All right. I can also come here and change the background color to maybe white. You can see this one remains the same. This one has changed. Okay. I can also change the font style. Okay, watch this and all these things that I wrote out here. Change the font style to decorative. You see the way it changes. You can change it to formal. Okay. Change it to playful. Alright. But if you're using this for a formal purpose, it's better you leave it with formal or formal. Makes it looks more presentable. All right. So that is basically that for this section. All right. I can also choose an image if I want to attach an image to the head of this file. Okay, if I want to attach an image to the head of the file, I can click on choose image, and once I click on choose image, a lot of pictures will be brought out for me to choose from, which I can attach to the file, or the form rather. Okay, I can attach it to the form. You can see different templates: work and school, illustration, birthday, food. I will see all sort of pictures that I can use and attach to my form. Okay, so make sure that the picture you are attaching matches the form that you are creating. You will see, I will show us in a couple of minutes a form I created for a particular advert campaign. I had to use the logo of the organization as their picture. How do I do that? I go to upload. It permits me to upload my own picture if I feel all this picture does not serve my purpose. I can upload pictures from my phone or from my computer. Okay, and then I'll choose which picture I want. I upload it. As soon as I upload it, of course it has to be in this format. Okay, you can see the format that these pictures are. This is the cover picture format. So make sure that your picture is in this format. If it's not in this format, you want to edit it to this format before you can use it. Okay, if not, it will just disfigure or change the design of what you are trying to do. So in this case, I will say let's use, since it's a freelance class, I'll say let's use something that portrays learning. Okay, something that portrays learning. So go straight down, and you can see, let's see if there's anything like a computer that we could use. There is nothing like a computer here. So let's just see something. Let's see something like this. And then it automatically attaches itself to the picture. Okay, so this is what we have. See that? Freelance, and that is it. So once we have done that, you can close this and then check for yourself how people will see this form when you push it out. How will the form look like? You come over to preview and click on preview, and then you see how the form looks like when you send it out. See how the form is? This is exactly what the form looks like. You scroll down, people can put in their names. Okay, you can type in anything. You see that? People can put in their WhatsApp number. Okay, type in anything. You can choose which option that they feel answers their question. Okay, or would you recommend this training? If I choose other, then I have to supply my answer. Okay, you want to upload a file, you can add file to call up computer or your laptop so that you can upload your file the way it is. All right, and then you can, when you're done, you can click on submit. Is that understood? So that is that for forms. Another thing you want to see is you can undo and redo. If you made a mistake, probably when you're typing, or you made a mistake at all, and you want to go back to what you were doing, you click on this. If you consider that it was no longer a mistake, you can go to redo, and then this is where you send this form out to people so that they can fill the form. You click on send, and then two things. If you want to collect people's emails while they are filling the form, you click on collect emails. Once you do this, the form automatically extracts the email of the person responding to this form. Is that understood? Then, if you want to send the form to somebody's email to answer the questions for you, you use this option, email. You can see the first option here is email. So you put in the person's email, and then this is the subject of the form. Then a message, you can customize this subject and this message to your taste if you want to. I've invited you to fill this form or fill out a form. Okay, you can include form in email. I don't think this option is available yet because I have not put in any email here. Okay, and that is that for emails. Now, if you are working in an organization, for instance, and this is supposed to be like a questionnaire which any staff of your company can have access to in case you are not at work to attend to the answers on a particular day, okay, you want to give other people access to this form so that in your absence, other staff of your company can also see the answers that people are generating from the form. You do that by adding collaborators. Once you click on add collaborators, it will ask you to add the emails of the people you want to give access to this form. Okay, you add their emails and then you decide what kind of access you want to give them. You want to give them the access to be able to edit the form, or just to see the form, the answer people have supplied, okay, or you want to give them access to delete the form, and you know, the way we did it the other time. That is basically what it is here. So that is that for adding collaborators to the form. Still on send, if you don't want to send it via email, you can send out a link to the form by clicking on this. You can see, so once I copy this link now, okay, which is the link to this form, and I share it to the group, and just like I did the previous time, as soon as people begin to click on the link, to take you to the form so that you can fill the form. But I usually don't like this kind of link because the link is too long. So what I do is I click on this option here to shorten the link. You see that? It has shortened the link. It now looks more presentable and not scary. Okay, so once the link has been shortened, you can now copy the link, okay, and then you head over to where you want to share the link, and then you click on share. Yes, Malaki Vivian, Survey Hearts, that's correct. So you click on share, and that is the link to the form. So anybody that has this link will automatically be able to attend to the questions on the link. Okay, so Malaki Vivian, are you still with us? If you are with us, kindly copy this link and share it to the WhatsApp group so that everybody can attend to the form. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right, thank you. So we head over back to where we were, which is still on the Google Forms. Where were we? Here, you're right. So you can also embed this form to your website. If you have a website that you have hosted for yourself and you want people to attend to this form directly from your website, all you need to do is click on this option and you'll be given a link to the form. Okay, you'll be given a link to the form which you can embed on your website. Okay, you can embed it to your HTML website code. But if you have asked people to upload, you can see the option here. It says this form cannot be embedded because it makes use of file upload questions. Okay, so what I will just do now is I would take out that option that asks you to upload a file. I'll take it out. That means, or you already understand this, so don't bother uploading the file because you would occupy my Google Drive. So I'll take it out. Okay, I've taken it out. The purpose of that was just to help you understand how it works, how to use the function. So now we can go back to send and check out the embedded link, and we can find the link. You see the link has come up because we have taken out that file upload feature. So you can just copy this link and then head over to your website, your HTML section, and then you paste this link there. Once you paste the link there, you create the page properly, set up the page, and people will see this form once they open the link on your website. Is that understood? And lastly, you can share this form directly on Facebook or Twitter. Okay, so these are the ways to share out this form. I've shared the link to us, so I expect everybody to fill that form honestly. Lastly, we have the more option here. You can make a copy of this form if you want. You can delete. You can get pre-filled link. You can print this form if you want people to fill it out manually with your pen and paper. This is another way to add collaborators. You can script edit this form, you can add on to this form. So this is everything we need to know about Google Forms. Is that understood? Is everything we need to know about Google Forms, and automatically you can see all changes saved in Drive. So anything you do is automatically saved to your Google Drive. You see the form would occupy the first position here because it has become the newest form that has been created. So you see that. So this was the form I was telling us about, where I had to use these two forms. This is another form I created for a client. This is the form I created for an NGO, where I had to use the logo of the NGO, okay, to collect information about the form. Rather, I used the logo to create the form, okay, and you can see the name, the details of the event, okay. I collected emails. You see name of delegate or participants, name of guardian or chaperone. You see name and location of school, WhatsApp number, in need of a paid accommodation, yes or no, arrival date if in need of a paid accommodation. So you see where I use the date feature. Departure date if in need of a paid accommodation. This was the date feature. You can also use time feature if you want. I understand that I will have to pay if I need an arranged accommodation. You have to tick this, and it's compulsory, so that we are sure that you understand what you're doing before you submit. Is that understood? Now, when people begin to answer the question, when people begin to attend to the question on this form, then you go back to your forms and click on response. You begin to see responses. You can see 15 people responded to this question. You can see all their emails. These are the emails of the people that have responded, and this is under summary of responses. Okay, it categorizes the form responses according to how the question was. You can see the first thing I asked them here was their email, followed by their names, followed by the name of their guardian, followed by the name of their school, their WhatsApp number, and so on and so forth. So if you are using the summary format of responses, you will be seeing different things here. You can see it will be categorized according to the questions you asked. The first question you asked was their email. So it's showing you the emails of the 15 people that responded to this question. You see that? Yet over here, the next question you asked them was their names. So it's showing you the names of the 15 people that responded. You see that? The next is the name of their chaperone. Okay, you can see the name of their chaperone, the 15 people that responded. The next is their WhatsApp location of school. You can see the name of their school, their WhatsApp number. You can see that. You can see their various numbers down here. You can see in need of paid accommodation. This is like a summary. Okay, in need of paid accommodation. How many people answered yes? 33%. How many people answered no? 6%. Okay, so this is more like a report, a quick report of the answers to your questions, okay, on your form. But if you feel you don't like this format of answer, you can choose question so that you see how each person has answered a question. Okay, so this format will show you individual responses. This is one person out of 8 people. There are more here. Okay, so how did this person answer the question? The first person name is this, okay, and the first person name is this as well. First person, next person, each of them, 15 of them, this is their name, okay, followed by, these are their names, the 15 people, followed by, change this to get the next question, name of chaperone. It shows you the names of the chaperone. You see that, followed by their WhatsApp number. You show their WhatsApp number, okay, followed by what again? You understand departure dates. You can see all their departure dates. For those of them that supply dates, okay, you can see their dates. Alright, so that is how you get another format of responses, or you can check it out individually. How did individual people respond, or individual persons respond? Okay, in this case, you take it one after the other. The first person, this was all the responses supplied. All right. The second person, check how they supply the responses accordingly. So this is usually the second best way to collect your answers, individual responses. But there is even a better way to collect answers by doing what? By exporting this answer as an Excel sheet. When you export this answer as an Excel sheet, you'll be able to see it in this format. This format I showed us previously. Okay, the format I showed us previously. Let me see if I. Okay, let's see this format, for instance. This was the form I created for your seniors that just graduated. Okay, so some of them, you can see the way it is. This Excel sheet is better off. In fact, it's the best way to collect your responses, because it will give you the exact time and date that the person responded, the name of the people, their WhatsApp numbers, their email addresses, their responses to the question you supplied. Okay, and some of them were able to attach an image. Okay, but in your case, I have to remove it so that it doesn't occupy my drive. So this is how you collect responses when you have gotten responses. Okay, under responses, just click on this Excel sheet. As soon as you click on it, it will automatically download to your system or your phone. Then you can open it in this format. Okay, so that is that for that. With this, we have come to the end of Google products. Okay, we have come to the end of Google products, and this was the form that gave us that answer. Okay, you can see masterclass. This was the previous masterclass that gave us those answers and just showed us in Excel format. So with this, we've come to the end of Google products. I don't know what time do we still have left. This is past 9. Okay, we still have some time. We'll just take a couple of other things. Let's see what we can cover here. I've tampered with this. Sorry. Let's see what we still have to cover. We may not be able to finish everything that I researched today, but we'll cover the most we can cover. I think the next thing we're supposed to cover is Slack. I'm supposed to cover Slack, but I would leave Slack for another time because it's quite encompassing. Slack can take us another 1 hour 30 minutes. So instead of covering Slack, let's cover Trello. Okay, let's cover Trello. I'll cover Trello. Let's see, Trello.com. So Trello is an application or a software that is used for administration and management. Okay, Trello is like a software that can help you manage your activities, and it's usually put to use by organizations or small businesses. Particularly you can use it to assign tasks to people in your organization. Okay, various kind of tasks. Now Trello, I like to liken things that I teach to common day-to-day objects that we see, so that we understand it better. So imagine that you enter an organization or a company, for instance, and then when you enter the receptionist section, you find a notice board, or this notice board that has blue cover or blue seating inside it. You see aluminum edge around the notice board, and then the inside of the notice board is covered with a blue kind of material. And then on top of the notice board, you find papers that are pinned to the notice board. Okay, You can find papers that can be announcement, papers that can be memos, papers that can be, instruction given to staff of the school or of the organization, whatever. Okay, so the first thing is the bigger board, which holds the A4 paper that is used to write the document or the announcement. Okay, and then we can also still have smaller sheets of cards, which I refer to as stickers. For those of you that have come across those stickers, there are some kind of stickers that you can write on. They have this gummy feeling under them. They look like a short jotter that you can detach them and paste them even on the wall, so that the gum will hold them to the wall. Some of you use them on your fridge, some of you use them on your laptop. Okay, so those kind of stickers, imagine those stickers pasted on those white papers that are on the notice board. So there are three things now. We have the bigger board, which is a notice board. We have the paper, A4 paper, and then we have the sticker on the paper. So these are the three things that I will use to explain what the feature of Trello are. The first thing is to sign up on Trello. You need to go to trello.com and you sign up on an account. Ordinarily, I don't usually advise people to sign up on Trello, because except you want to use it for yourself, or except you people want to use it as a group. Okay, so Trello ordinarily is used by businesses to assign responsibilities and tasks to different persons. Okay, like the client I'm working for, he has a Trello account, which is this, Hopes University. Okay, and he assigned some tasks to me. Okay, and a couple of tasks to other persons. Okay, other persons in our team. All right, so if I open this now, even though I really don't like opening my client's work, but let's just see what it looks like. If you open this, you would see the different assignments that is given to different people or different members of our team. All right, so you can see this one is the login section. This here holds the login details of my client. Every of the website that he visits, his login details is here. Of course, I'm not going to open it. This is administration. Those that are in charge of administration. This is somebody, one of our team member, Jack Smith. These are the things he covers. He covers Hopes Institute, some data there, Hopes University, and the rest of them. This is me. You can see these are the things I cover: communication tools and credentials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the rest of them. So that is how you can use Trello to assign tasks to team members of the same organization. Okay, members of the same organization. So we'll be going back to the home page. So I'll show you quickly using the one I created, which is this. So you can actually create from the scratch. All right, you can create from the scratch. All right, let's see. Let's create one from the scratch. So I'll click on create new board. I click on create new board. You can see we have a new board to be created here. But before I do that, I need to explain some of these things to us. This is the home page, Trello. If you click on this, it takes you back to Trello. If you click on this, it brings you back to this Atlassian features, which is more or less like more features of Trello that you can play around here. Okay, Workspace is usually the name of everything you're seeing here for individual companies. So when a company opens a Trello account, what that company has opened is their company's workspace. So in this case, this is my workspace. This company here, Mapio Digital Agency, this is my workspace. This is the workspace of what am I saying? This is the board, rather. The workspace is the owner of this Trello account. Okay, So this is my workspace, and under my workspace I have this company's board, which is my client's board, and I have my own personal board. Okay, and everything is under my workspace. All right, so all these are just other softwares that you can try that links to Trello. Okay, that is what you get under this. So workspace, I just explained that. Once you click on it now, we see the different workspaces that exist under my workspace here. Okay, because I am working with this client and I also have my own personal work. So that is why I am seeing, you can see two different workspaces in my own workspace. Okay, so this is my workspace and I'm working on two different workspaces. Now, for recent, as the name implies, this one just talks about the most recent thing that you checked up on Trello recently. Okay, that is what it is. Which board you most recently opened, that is what you find here. If there are anything you've started on Trello, that is what you find here. You see templates here if you want templates to use, and then here is where you create another board or another workspace or another board. Let me see that. Let's see what it, I think it's yeah, you can create a workspace, you can create a board, or you can start with the templates. Okay, so this is where you search everything that is on your workspace, because this is my personal workspace. So if I want to search anything at all, maybe I'm not sure whether it's here or it's here, I just come over here and search for it, and then it would call out the results, and then I can from there find where it is exactly. Okay, so this is where I get notification. If there are any notifications for me, I'll see it here. This is me, my profile. Boards talks about this that we just explained, or that we just gave an explanation to. Templates, if you want to create a new board or a new workspace, you can use templates to do that if you don't want to start from scratch. Home, as the name implies, this one takes you back to the home page of Trello. Workspaces, you can create a new workspace by clicking on this, and it asks you to start the process of creating another workspace. These are already existing workspace inside my own workspace. Okay, so this is mostly the overview of the Trello workspace. Alright, so to create a new board, you click on this, and then you have this. You start by choosing if you want an image, just the way I showed us in the Google Forms. Okay, you want an image as the background of your board. You can select any image here. I will be showing us that in a few moments. Or you just prefer to use a color instead of an image. You can do that. You give your board a title. Okay, you choose which workspace should this board be. Okay, I can change it to this board or this workspace or that workspace. Okay, and then when that is done, scroll down to see, scroll down to see if there are other things that you may want to fill out. Alright, so you can, if it's a workspace visibility, is it a private board or workspace board or public board? If it's a private board, it means nobody can have access to it except you invite them. If it is a workspace board, that means everybody on your workspace whom you have invited to your workspace can access this board. Okay, if it is a public board, it means anybody at all on the internet, provided they have the link to your board, even by searching on Google, they can jump or stumble on your board. So this is things that you want to be very careful of before you head on to creating a workspace for yourself. You want to be sure whether you want to make it public, private, or just a general board for workspace. So let's check out Freelance Masterclass board and see what we have there. So this is what the board looks like. Alright, this is what the board looks like. As you can see, this is the mother workspace. Okay, my own personal workspace. This will show me the board that I have on this workspace. The board on this workspace is what I'll find here. This everything you're seeing here is just one single board. Okay, if I have more than one board, you would probably see it here. Okay, probably see it here, but I really presently just have just one board. I have just one board, so that is what you're seeing here. If I have invited members to this board, and how do you invite members? You click on add and then you put in their emails. Okay, or if you want, I can share a link. I can create a link, for instance, copy the link, and then I share the link to you guys, and then anybody can. Okay, Malaki rather, Vivian, I got that. I'll copy it hopefully after the class. Okay, so if you wish to join the board, you can just click on this link and you'll find yourself inside the board. All right, so where was I? Here presently. So if anybody joins the board, you will see their names popping up here. So presently these are just people that I invited from the previous, some of the people I invited from the previous masterclass. Some of them joined and their name came up here. Another way to invite member is to use this link here. I can just click on invite and then I can put in their email address, or I create a link as well and share with them. So that is, anybody you invite here becomes a member of this board. Take note of what I'm explaining because it can be tricky sometimes. Anybody you invite here now becomes a member of this board, the entire board. This is where you get to fill up the settings. You can play around that at your own time. Okay, other things, table, calendar, and the rest of them. You can check that up later on. This is where you get to start the board if you want to start it and unstar it, alright? Again, this shows you the workspace, recent, start, template, and this is the name of the board. The name of the board itself is Freelance Masterclass, and you can see it is start. The name of the workspace, which is my pure digital agency workspace, and it is inside this workspace that you find this board. So the board is inside of this workspace. The workspace is visible to everybody here. That is why it's saying workspace visible. Power-ups are like third-party applications that you can integrate into Trello. Okay, like Google Calendar can be integrated into Trello. You can integrate some other things into Trello. Some third-party applications that were not created by Trello themselves. Okay, it's just like bringing one application and another application and joining it so that from one application you can access another application. That is what Power-Ups does. Okay, automation, this one you set it up so that you could be able to attend to some things even in your absence. Okay, so automation gives you that leverage to be able to set up some things, and I think this is a paid feature. Power-Up is also a paid feature. However, you can have access to one Power-Ups. That is, you can integrate one software or one app to your Trello dashboard at a time when you are using the free version. But if you are using the paid version, you can integrate as many softwares or applications to your Trello account as possible. Alright? But for free version, you can only use one Power-Up at a time. So these are the things you can automate. These are the things you can automate. You can automate rules so that people joining your board will get to see the rules and follow suit. You can automate buttons, you can automate email reports, but we'll not be covering that here, okay, because of time. You can also learn more about Trello when you watch the video Trello on LinkedIn Learning. Alright, so filter is another option that helps you to, sieve some of the things that you may want to find on your Trello board. There are some Trello board that these things are so many. These things you're seeing here are so many. We're coming back to them, okay? There are so many that you may not be able to figure which one is which one. So the easy way is to filter them out, and you can either filter with labels, you can filter with cards, you can filter with list and the rest of them. Okay, that is that for filter. I'm trying to wait for it to pop up so that you can see the feature yourself. So this is how you filter. You put in the keyboard, and then you can type the word that you're looking for on this Trello board. Type the keyword or the title of what you're looking for. Okay, you can filter with members. What is the name of the member you want to search with? Okay, filter with you can see due dates. You can filter with labels, and so on and so forth. All right, that is that for filter. And this is more option for menu. Okay, this is like the mother option. About this board, if you want to learn about the board, you can do that here. You can change the background. You see this background, you can change it from here. You can, this is a paid feature. Okay, this is a paid feature. You could customize the field, or you can't do that except you upgrade. This one too, you can add drop down text field, dates and more to your cards. You can start for free, but it's also a paid feature. This has stickers. Click on more, you get to see other things that you can do. Okay, email to board settings, watch, and the rest of them. You can copy this board so that when you share it, anybody who gets the link will automatically stumble on this board. And of course, this is the link to this board. If anybody has this link and cannot navigate to this board, once they just search this link on Google, or they type this link into this URL section here, the link will automatically bring them to this board. Okay, so that is that for this section. And under settings, you can get to see other things. You can change the name of the workspace. You do some things here. Okay, so we'll leave it at that for now, and then we come to the major thing. Now remember, I explained that when you enter an office, you see a notice board, which is the larger notice board. That is what you're seeing here that I'm touching. My mouse is hovering around the notice board. So from here down to this place, up here, down here, that's the notice board, which is called the board. Okay, that's the Trello board. Now on this notice board, remember I made mention of A4 paper. Now the likeness of that A4 paper is what is called lists. Lists on Trello. So list is what you use to categorize things on your board. In this case, this is a to-do list, meaning you are yet to attend to these ones. This is doing list, meaning this is what you are doing presently. This is done list, meaning these ones you have attended to it and you have completed the task. Alright? You can add more if you want, just like the way I showed you that of my client. For my client, he gave each list a name. The one that I am to attend to, my name was on the list. The one that another staff is to attend to, their name was on the list. The one that concerns login details of different websites, he tagged it the name of logins. Okay, so you can give this list any name of your choice. To do that, just tap on the name and then you can edit it. It's as simple as that. Now remember, I also talked about a short paper, a sticker kind of, with different colors, which you can use to pin or to write a note and pin it to the A4 paper. So the sticker is on top of the A4 paper, the A4 paper is on top of the board. So this sticker is this likeness, and that is what is called cards. Okay, so you create tasks on cards, and each card is placed on a list, and the list is found on a board. So this is what you need to understand when you are navigating through different Trellos. And the very interesting thing about Trello is you can always move cards from one position to another. For instance, if I'm through with this, I can just carry this, drag it, and move it to done list. I'm through with this, I can drag it, move it to done list. I'm through with this, I can drag it, or if I want to start with it, I can drag it and move it to doing list. See the way it's going? So that is how interesting Trello is. Some of you will go and start playing with this thing now, thinking it's a game. So, sorry about that. So, now we move over to the cards properly, because the card is where the major thing is. And I'll start by creating a fresh card. How do you create a fresh card? You can see it down here, add card, add card, add card. So each list has the feature where you can add a card. So all you need to do is add a card to the section where you want to add the card, and you want to be sure that it is in the section where you want to add it. So in this case, let's add a card to this place, which is to-do list. So we can name the card and say we have a training next week Monday. So we say freelance training for Monday. Okay, freelance training for Monday. Now another thing we can do, sorry, this is a Grammarly application, let me take it out. And this is also important for those of you who will be working, especially when most of the thing you'll be doing is typing. It's important to download this application. It's free, both for phone and for PC. It corrects your grammar as soon as it notices any error, whether capitalization error, grammatical error, whatever. You see it in red, and once you click on it, it will give you the option of what you may have done wrongly, so that you can correct it. You see, it's telling me that I spelled Monday with small letter instead of capital. So if it is correct, I can accept the correction, and then it will correct it automatically. Okay, so that is Grammarly for you. So once that is done, you can see it has corrected it. So once that is done, I can still click on the card, okay, so that I can edit it. So you see that it has brought out the card in a full format. So any card at all you find on your Trello board, you can either double click on it to open the card in a full format. Okay, once you double click on any card at all, you see the card will open up in a full format. Okay, so let's go back to our major card. This is the card we're creating, and you can as well click on edit to still open it up in a short format. Okay, but you can only use this one if you are very conversant with the full format, because everything you're seeing here is just a summary of what you have in the full format. So let's go back to the full format and see what we have there. So this is the full format of the card. The card is found in the to-do list. The name of the card is Freelance Training for Monday. This is where we can put our description. So we say on Monday, what are we to cover? On Monday, we would cover, say, Slack. We would cover Slack. We cover what else? Zoom. I think these are the major two that will be covered on Monday. So we'll say Slack and Zoom. Slack, Zoom, and share the link. Share the link to, say, Zendesk video to participants. Okay, so this is important because if you are not the only one working on this card, as you can see there are name on there's a name on the card, which is my own name. So if I'm not the only one working on this card, this description will be very important, so that anybody else working on this card would understand this card by the, in fact, every card is supposed to have a description, so that even if you are not working on the card and somebody else stumbles on the card, they'll be able to understand what this card is for. And then if it's something that they can help you with, they can go ahead and work on it. So if you're done, you save. Alright. Now, activity here should only be entered when you have done something on the card. So activity is like a feedback. For instance, I come on Monday now and I attend to Slack and I'm not able to do Zoom. I'll come to activity and say Slack has been covered. Okay. And say other tasks are yet to be attended to. Okay, So this is an activity. Let's assume I have attended to this. You see it, so that anybody that opens this Slack, or I say Slack, sorry, anybody that opens this card would check out the activity and say, okay, this is the person who made this comment, that he has covered Slack and he is here to cover other tasks. What are the other tasks here? He goes back to the description. On Monday, we are to cover Slack, Zoom, and share this thing. So it means he has covered Slack, he is here to cover Zoom, and he's here to share the link to this Zendesk video to participants. So you see how this helps in collaboration, and it helps everybody in the same team to work actively, so that your absence does not deprive others from progressiveness. Okay, so that is what this is all about. You can show more details if you want to. Okay, you can show more details on this activity if you want to. More details means everything that has been done on this card, beginning from when the card was created to when this was added, and so on and so forth. As you can see, I can edit this work if I want to edit this thing I have written. Okay, I can attach anything I want to attach. I can mention anybody's name I want to mention. Okay, I can use smiley. I can even add card to this if I want to add another card to this card. Okay, so that one is for you to use your discretion. So that said, let's now head over to this part. This is where we can add people. Okay, for every card you create, you would ordinarily be found in the card. You who are the owner of the workspace, you'll be found in the card. That's why you can see me here. But it does not mean that I have joined this card. Okay, so to join this card, I need to click on join for my name to be on this card. So here I will click on join, and you'll see my name pop up here, that I am now a member in this card. Okay, and once I do that, you will see that it shows that I'm beginning to watch this card. See, this watch here will be ticked. So everybody watching the card will be those whose name appear here. And then for this particular card, I can add people. I don't know if any of you have joined this workspace. I shared the link and nobody has joined. Has anybody joined, so that I can add people here? Or nobody's interested? Alright, I'll just continue. I believe you understand what I'm doing. So I can add people to this card. You see the reason why I said you should understand the difference between adding people to a board, adding people to a workspace, and adding people to a card. You can add people to a particular workspace, which is the larger company, but they may not be invited to join a board. For instance, I can have different board for different departments in my company, but then say we have 10 people in the company, and then I have 5 different boards for different departments: sales, marketing, social media, different customer service, and maybe procurement and logistics. Okay, and then different members of the company will be on different board. Of course, one person can be on all the board depending on their roles in the company. Okay, and then even on that board, you still have cards which are inside different lists. Remember, I said list can be any name. Okay, so even after creating a board for different purposes, inviting different people to join different boards, I can still go as far as creating different cards, because cards are like tasks for different people. Okay, so I can create a card and only invite one person out of the 10 people that are working for me to join this task. Okay, so it now becomes like the person I'm inviting to this task, or to this to this card, is somebody that I specifically have an assignment for on this card. You see that? So that if you check down again, you will see that if the person is online, the person would be seeing watch on his own end as well. Okay, and you will see that 2 people are watching the card. In this case, the person is not online. Okay, the person is not online. So here I can even go as far as under activity, I would say art. Once I call art, I can call the guy's name Emmanuel, for instance. You see the name already popped up because I have added him to the card. I can say at Emmanuel, attend to the other task. The other tasks on this card. Okay? Once I do that, you see his name has been highlighted. And as soon as this name is highlighted, he will receive a notification on his own Trello board that his name has been mentioned somewhere, just like you see it on Facebook. Once you click on the notification, click on the message on the notification, it will bring him over to this card so that he can see why his name was mentioned and what task or responsibility he has been given. Okay, so this is how you assign tasks to different people on different cards. You can also add more members here. Once I click on members, I can add more. Okay, presently there are only 2 of us on this card. The next thing is labels. Labels are used or are good so that you can, differentiate different lists or different cards with their colors. For instance, cards that needs urgent attention, I like using red label for it. Remember, this is a to-do list, so I love to use red labels for it. If it were to be something that was on done list, for instance, I can decide to use maybe say yellow label for it. If it were to be something like doing list, I can decide to use green label for it. So it depends. And you see, with this label as well, I can search for this card. Remember when I went to search option and I said you can search with labels. So I can search and go to search option and click on red labels, and it will bring out all the red labels on my board, including this card that has a red label. So this is the importance of attaching a label to your card. Okay. Checklist is like what we just saw on Google Drive. On Google Forms. Okay, but in a different format. For tasks, you can assign a checklist. Checklist on Trello rather will determine what your progress is on a particular card. You can give a checklist a name. Say CRM and communication tools. Okay, copy items from here, ignore that and just type add. You see it has come into the card. Now you can begin to add what are the things that you want to do on this card. You can create them one after the other. The task that you want this card to hold. Say for instance, you want to split up the things that you want to teach in this card. Let's follow the format we have on our presentation slide. We have Google Suits. Okay, Google Suits. We have Slack. We have Trello. Okay, we have Zoom. Okay, and then we have Zendesk. All right, Zendesk. There are more. Okay, but let's just use these ones. Now, it is assumed that this checklist here would help anybody working or watching this card to know how far their progress have been so far on this card. And each time you attend to any task on this checklist and you tick it, you see this bar moving, showing you your progressiveness. For instance, we have covered Google Suits. I can tick on Google Suits. It will strike out Google Suits, showing that we have finished everything on Google Suits. And then it will tell me I have covered 20% of the task that is required to be completed on this card. Let's assume after today, I come over and clear out Trello. It will strike out Trello, showing that I have covered Google Suite and Trello, remaining Slack, Zoom, and Zendesk. And it is telling me my progressiveness, how far I have progressed in accomplishing the task assigned to me on this card. So this is how sometimes your client might decide to give you task, and when you have done each of the tasks, you need to strike it out, so that when your client opens their own Trello in their own computer, even when you are asleep, they can also see what you have done. And for every task that you strike out, it is wise and advisable that you drop an activity feedback for it, okay, so that they know what you have done. So these are just tools that make work easier and make it look more professional. All right, now we want to look at other things. You can create multiple checklists if you want, okay, and you can always delete them. Another thing we want to look at is dates. Dates are attached to cards to give a kind of, or to give a sense of when the card should be due for submission or for completion. Okay, so say for instance I gave Emmanuel this card and this task to complete. I can tell Emmanuel that I want this task to be completed before Wednesday next week. You see that? Before Wednesday next week, I want this task to be completed. And then the date, what date you want the task to start? I can say today is what, 4th. I can use 4th. Okay, I can use 4th of March. So Emmanuel has today, tomorrow, next tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, and it should be completed by Wednesday. You can see the start date 4th, the due date 9th. At this time, let's say 2 p.m. At 2 p.m. in the morning, I want this. I'm now setting up this task as somebody who is outside the country, because their time is different from our time. At 2 p.m. at Emmanuel's time, he should have completed this task. And then I can say, if I'm Emmanuel, for instance, this can be set by your client and it can be set by you. Don't get it wrong, okay? So if I were to be the one setting this task for myself, I can say, okay, so that I don't forget, remind me about this card 1 day before, or remind me about this card 1 hour before the expiry date, okay, so that I can attend to it quickly, okay? And then more things that we can do with this. I think that's all, and then we can save it. See that? Once we save it, it comes up here. Okay, this card is due later. You see that? So I can tick this only if I have completed it. Alright? Only if I have what? Completed this card. And I can reschedule the date if I want to reschedule it, or for another date. So as an individual, as a freelancer, I can use this to track my progress or my priority, or make my priority list, okay, so that I know exactly when to attend to this card and when it is due for submission. Okay, so that said, even here I can decide to hide these ones that I have done, so that I know that these ones are the ones remaining for me. I click here, it takes off the ones that have been done and leaves out the ones that are remaining. I can as well add more items to this if I want to. Okay, so that's that for dates. I can attach a file to this. Maybe say for instance, the person who assigned this task to me wants to give me more information about this card. Maybe the information is in a PDF format, maybe a document or a video or what have you. You can just click on attach and use any of these means to attach a file to this card. I can copy a file from my computer and attach it here. I can copy a file directly from Trello if I have downloaded any file into my Trello. I can copy from my Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, whatever. Or even if I have the link, maybe to a website where I need to read up something, I can attach a link here and click on attach when I'm done attaching any of these. Okay, or it could even be for me as a freelancer, if after finishing this work and the person said I should give him a report of the work and submit it in a PDF format, I can type all the report of the work and come over here and attach the document. And then once I attach the document, immediately the person opens it on his own end, he will see the attachment. Let me show you what it looks like when you attach a document. Let's say I attach a document from my computer. Let's say I attach a document from my computer. Let's say cover letter. Let's say cover letter for this. And you see the way it's attaching. See showing progress, upload progress. And then once it is attached, it automatically finishes and off it goes. So that anybody watching this card or anybody participating in this card can just click on this document and it will download into their phone or their file or their computer, and then they can open it up. And of course, I can come here and comment on the document. Okay, I comment on this document, I can delete it, and I can edit the document. Okay, so this is the document. This is the link of the document. Okay, it's an attachment. I can come here and write something. Maybe this is the requested report for the task on this card. Okay, for the task on this card, and then I save it. Okay, so once the person opens it, the Trello card, he sees this notification, and then I can go ahead, come over here and write it out again as part of the activity that I have done. Okay, where is the activity? I think I've crossed it. I can write it as part of the activity I have done. Okay, that I have uploaded the report requested and I have finished this task. Okay, so that is that for attachment. Cover, you can add an image to this card if you want, just like I was showing us previous times. Adding image to the top of the form, adding image to the background of the board. You can attach image to this card, maybe an image that can help you, remind you of what you need to do on the card or whatsoever. Okay, so that is what the cover is all about. Let's not waste our time on that. Let's move on to the other things. So this is where you add power-ups to the card. Power-ups can be calendars, can be different softwares. Once you click on it, it will take you to the marketplace for Trello. Okay, it will take you to the marketplace for Trello, where you can attach different power-ups for your card. You can see this is a card we created from scratch. You can see the way it's looking now. You can see the way it's looking. So this is where you get power-ups from. See the different power-ups, different applications. See the ones that are here. You can even browse them by their categories. If you want to attach anyone, you can just click on add. You can attach Scramble and the rest of them. Okay, if it is a file management tool, communication and collaboration tool. Okay, so here we are. You can add out all these things. You can add it to your card, provided it will help you work well. You can see Gmail. You can add Gmail to your card so that you can read your mails directly. You can see Google Drive. You can do all that and link it up to your card so that you can access them directly via your Trello card. Okay, yeah, Trello card. So let's head back to the Trello board. What am I doing here? Sorry. Let's head back to the Trello board and open the card again. Try to finish up what we started. So that is that for power ups. Okay, like I told us, you're only entitled to add one power up if you are using the free version. The paid version, you can use as many. The same thing with automation button. Okay, you can add different buttons to create your automations. All right. So lastly, these are the actions that you can take on your card. You can move the card. Okay, you can copy it. You can make templates so that you can reuse the card another time. You can be on the watch list. You can see those on the watch list from here, and you can unwatch if you don't want to watch the card again. You can archive this card or you can delete it, okay? And then you can share this card if you want to. You can share it with a link or whatever it is. So this is basically how to create a card and work on the card. They understood. So having done all this, you can now see how the card looks like right here. You see the card we started to create from scratch. You see how it looks like now. So once you are done, you can just change the color. You see everything we talked about here. Open card. If you open this card, it will open it in the larger format. You can edit the label, you can change members, you can change cover, you can move, copy, edit dates, archive. So if you are done with the card, you can just change the label. For instance, change the label of the card, say to green, since you are done. But that is not all you will do. When you add another color, you have to remove the previous color. If not, the two colors will remain there. So you have to remove this one, and then I will head over to this place and click on save. Now that it's done, I'll simply move the card to this section. It is done. You see that? So this is the basic knowledge that you need to have about Trello. Alright? So with this knowledge, you are good to work on Trello at your own time. Alright? So the next thing I would like to cover is Zoom. Zoom will be very short because it's something that most of us already know. I want to quickly cover Zoom so that from next week we'll take off Slack and jump into other things. Okay? So I'll cover Zoom. And how do you sign up on Zoom? Of course, you go to Zoom sign up. Alright? Once you click on your Zoom sign up, it takes you to this page, and then you click on Zoom sign up. Because I'm already signed up on Zoom, it will likely take me into the internal sign-in page. Let's just see what happens. Okay, here we are. So you can sign up from scratch on Zoom if you have not signed up on Zoom, because Zoom is actually a conferencing tool. It's just like our Google Meet. It does virtually everything that Google Meet does. It can be used to teach trainings, make trainings. It can be used for seminars, workshops, and the rest of them. But the thing is, Zoom also has a paid version and a free version. The free version of Zoom limits participants to 45 minutes of participation or 45 minutes of presentation if the participants in the session are more than 2. Okay, if you are more than 2 in a Zoom meeting, your meeting will be broken to 45 minutes. So after 45 minutes, Zoom will lock all of you out, and you have to restart the meeting with a new link to continue from where you stopped. That is one disadvantage of Zoom that I don't encourage. Okay. However, if you have the paid feature, then you have unlimited time to spend on Zoom. Zoom also has a recording feature, an internal recording feature. Okay. So we'll probably be seeing that in a few moments from now. So this is how you sign up. You can just fill up all this information and submit it, or you click up on sign up for free. Sign up for free. Unless I forget, Zoom has a mobile client and a desktop client. Okay, when I mean client, I mean a mobile version or mobile app and a desktop app. But this one we are using now is the browser version of Zoom. Okay, the browser version of Zoom, and it works almost like the desktop version and the mobile version. The mobile version is more compressed as compared to the desktop version of Zoom. Alright, so let's move this comes up quickly so that we don't have to spend too much time here. It's already 11. We'll soon be done. Okay, we'll soon be done. I'm just trying to do this so that you people will have time. At least I told us that the training is supposed to be for 1 month. Okay, but I had to crash it to 2 weeks so that I can leave you guys for the remaining 2 weeks to practice what you have learned. Okay, because I know this is almost like an overload of information for some of you. So you have extra 2 weeks to practice before you now begin to apply for freelance jobs. Please don't be in a hurry to make the money. The money will always be there. Just make sure you load yourself with the necessary skill so that you are well equipped before we begin to talk about making money. This is taking quite some time. Okay, maybe we'll just have to stop here because of time. Okay, we just have to stop here because of time, so that from our next class we'll take up Trello, we'll take up Slack, we'll take up Zoom, and then navigate to other things from there. Alright, so because of time, like I said, I would prefer we stop here and hopefully continue on Monday. So if you have any question, please kindly ask your question. Copy this link now and so that I don't forget it. If you have any question, please kindly ask your question. Hello, are we still together or are we already asleep?
A question, sir.
No, we're here.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, James.
All right, my question is concerning Trello
Okay.
and that of Google Forms.
Okay.
On Trello, does it mean that it doesn't to have a sign up on Trello before can view things on Trello? Like you just come and see what's that on Trello. Then on Google,
Sorry. Can you repeat that question? I didn't quite get it clearly.
I said based on Trello, you shared a link to us.
Yes.
Earlier when you created and you shared a link to
Yes.
us. Now asking, do we need to before we can use login or to enter Trello?
Yes, you need to sign up. Yes. If you don't have a Trello account, you will need to sign up.
Okay. Then based on Google Forms, I'm going to give you the questions to structure. You are the one to structure questions.
If you are the one to create the form, then you will need to create the questions by yourself. But if a client wants you to create a form for them, they will tell you what questions they need on the form. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question before we call it a night? Any other question?
On my side, no, sir.
Vivian, did you say you have a question? Did you say you have a question, rather?
No question, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so from Monday, I'm still expecting that you people have created your Gmail account from scratch. Okay, but I'll just keep that as an assumption because I will demand for your mails. Okay, so later on I'll be sharing the link to the form so that all of you can have access to the form and fill it. Okay, and I'll probably share the link to the Trello link too, in case you feel like joining. You can just play around the Trello card and see how it works for you. Alright, so from Monday we'll just check out Zoom and Slack. Okay, I'll share the link to Zendesk as well so that we can learn Zendesk within the weekend. Okay, so that we know that by Monday we are done with this section, and then we'll simply move to the next section, which is how to craft a CV. Hopefully on Monday, if we have enough time, we'll also cover, we will not touch portfolio because there will be no time for that. So we'll look at how to craft a CV and how to craft a winning proposal letter. Alright, and the next thing will be to create our we'll sign up on freelance websites and show us how to hunt for job. So hopefully by Wednesday we'll see all that, and by Friday we'll be calling this training to a close. We'll have by then elapsed 2 weeks of training. So with this, I call this to a close. Thank you once again for joining in. Thank you for your patience. And I'm hoping that you people will take all that you have learned quite seriously. Until then, if you have any other question outside this room, you can always ask that in the WhatsApp room. Alright, you have a wonderful night's rest and a lovely weekend ahead. See you at the other side. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right.